Do you like toys? Big Bad Toy Store has toys. If you click the link in the description below and give them money, you too can have toys. Now watch my video. Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the Storm collectible Shao Kahn. So yes, Storm has finally given us a Mortal Kombat character that's not one of the ninjas, and it is the big bad from Mortal Kombat 2, and also other Mortal Kombat related things, Shao Kahn. And he is, overall, really cool. I do have some minor complaints, but for the most part, I think if you're into Mortal Kombat, he's something certainly worth looking into. Starting off with a quick size comparison, of course, here we have Shao Kahn. Here's our standard Marvel Legends 6-inch Cosmic Armor Iron Man and 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe Wolverine. Shao Kahn does tower over your standard 6-inch scale figures and is just way bigger than 3 3/4-inch figures. And here he is with one of the Storm Mortal Kombat figures, and as you can tell, he also towers over them as well. Now let's get everything else out of here and just look at Shao Kahn. Moving on to our 360 spin, Shao Kahn does not wear a lot of clothing, so most of his body is a darker skin tone. He's got lots of nicely sculpted veins and muscles. And then moving on to his armor, pretty much everything you see on his body is like an added-on piece made out of a softer rubber, so nothing inhibits articulation, but it is a bit odd if it's not something you're already used to from Storm Collectibles. His chest and crotch are also rubber, but they're much thicker rubber, so they're even less noticeable than the other rubber pieces are. He's got some big red shoulder pads with gold spikes, a black harness with a silver skull on it. He's got that same skull sort of design on his belt, little plated skirt thing flowing down from that, more red armor and spikes on the knees and on the shins, and he's got some big gray spiked bracers on his wrists, and his feet are like black socks with sandals on them, basically. But all in all, the detail looks really, really good. I don't have any real complaints. He certainly looks like Shao Kahn. And while I know some people are not really fond of all the rubber stuff, it doesn't personally bother me that much. Everything seems to hold its shape pretty well, which is all that really matters in my opinion. Head sculpt-wise, Shao Kahn comes with 2 head sculpts, and they're both sculpted really well. He's bald. He's got these little forehead finger things. They basically look like someone with thin fingers has laid their hands across his forehead. He's got pointy ears. He's got a very pronounced brow. Some nicely sculpted facial features. He's got red eyes. The painting on the fingernails of the head fingers on mine is a bit sloppy. But other than that, I think it looks really good. And like I said, he has 2, so he has his stern expression and his gritted teeth angry expression. And since we're on the head, we can go ahead and look at his war helmet, which I think is how most people would probably have him displayed. It is made of a soft rubber material, like a lot of his other things are, except for the V part on the front that is hard plastic, and it fits over either one of his heads. The bulk of it is nice and silver and spiky and skull-shaped, and then it's got the big red frill part at the bottom. So it looks really good as well, and I think he looks nice displayed with it on or off. So you can display him however you want in that regard. Articulation-wise, Shao Kahn is really good. You get a nice double ball peg in the neck, so you get really good head movement. Butterfly joints in the shoulders. Arms go up and down, forward and back. Bicep cut. Double joint elbows. Wrist hinge and rotation. He's got ball pegs in the chest and waist, so you get some nice body movement there. Hips go in and out, forward and back, rotate around on the joint, double jointed knees, hinge, pivoting in the ankles, and a toe joint. So you should be able to get him into some nice poses. His bulk limits him a little bit, but I think you can get him into pretty much all the Shao Kahn kind of poses you would want. Accessories-wise, Shao Kahn comes with a few things. He has 5 sets of hands. He has his fist hands, his holding hands for his hammer. He's got 1 set of open hands and 1 set of slightly more open hands, and then he has 1 set of pointing hands. They do have the little armor plates sculpted onto the back of them, and otherwise they look like hands, so nothing to complain about there. He comes with his Wrath Hammer, as you would expect. Mine is a bit warped out of the package, and a lot of people seem to be that way. You can fix it with heat, but it is something worth mentioning. It's pretty nicely painted. The hand wrap has got gold and brown on it, and the rest of it's a gray, metal-y kind of color. It is covered in blood, whether you get the bloody variant or not, and it has the Mortal Kombat Dragon logo thing sculpted onto the head of it. It's really cool, and you can have him hold that with his holding hands. And lastly, you do get the throne. It is made out of a soft rubber like a lot of the other things are, and it's hollow. It is a bit like a dog toy. It personally doesn't bother me, but it is a bit weird. It has enough structural integrity that it easily holds him and stuff, so it's not really that big of a deal. It looks like a big brown stone throne. It's got lots of nice little details sculpted into it, big skull hand rest and things. And like I said, he can sit on it, and it does make for a good display piece. Packaging-wise, Shao Kahn comes in a very large box to accommodate for his size and the size of the throne. Storm Collectibles 112 Action Series, 112. Sure, we'll say they're 112. Age 17 plus, Mortal Kombat Shao Kahn. And on the back you get some poses for the figure and a little description of Shao Kahn, as well as some other little logos and stuff. As is generally the case, these kinds of boxes are good for in or out of package display, and that about wraps it up for Shao Kahn. So until next time, goodbye!